Please silence your devices.
Please rise for the Cox Mill High School class of 2017 and remain standing for the presentation of colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Louder, Superintendent of Cabarrus County Schools, and on behalf of the Cabarrus County School Board and the Cabarrus County Schools Administration, I would like to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony as we celebrate and recognize the class of 2017. For the last 12 years, I have attended all the graduation ceremonies for Cabarrus County Schools. Each one of them is unique and special, but this year is very different because this year I have a daughter who is graduating from high school. My daughter Haley is part of the class of 2017, and that makes this year's graduation extra special. I graduated from high school 30 years ago in 1987, and as I have been contemplating my daughter's graduation from high school, I have also thought a lot about my own. It was very difficult being 18 years old and about to graduate from high school because you're in this type of purgatory where some days you feel like a child and some days you feel like an adult. And all the people around you, some days they treat you like a child and some days they treat you like an adult. With that in mind, I've tried to consider what I was thinking about and feeling right before my own graduation. I distinctly remember constantly listening to one of my favorite songs of all time called Independence Day by Bruce Springsteen. For those of you who haven't been Bruce Springsteen fans for the past 35 years like me, he and his dad famously had a difficult relationship that he writes about in many of his songs. Independence Day is a song written from the perspective of a young man who comes in and talks to his father the night before he leaves home the next morning. In my mind, I've always pictured that conversation taking place at the kitchen table right after the narrator comes home from his last night out before he leaves home the next morning. The chorus of the song begins with, and often repeats, "Say goodbye, it's Independence Day." Besides listening to the song a million times, I've also read and watched many things that Mr. Springsteen has said about the song and what he was thinking about when he wrote it. What I remember loving so much about the song was that it captured all the elements that I was thinking about and feeling during that time. It had this sense of sadness that the narrator felt about leaving home and that his life was going to change in ways that maybe he wasn't aware of. It had this sense of regret that maybe he could have been a better person or a better son. And it also had what Mr. Springsteen refers to as the exhilaration of being cut free, just the joy of being able to live your own life. I remember thinking to myself on my graduation day that I was sad because I realized I may not see some of these people again, and that my life was going to change, and was I ready for that? I remember thinking that maybe I could have worked harder or been a better person. And I remember thinking, I cannot wait to get out of here and start making my own decisions. Now, 30 years later, I find myself thinking about a lot of the same things. The difference now is that I'm sitting on the other side of that table as the parent, and my daughter is talking to me about leaving home. I find myself being kind of sad because I'm going to miss her, and I'm going to miss having her around the house. I find myself thinking of many of the memories and important times in her life, like the day we brought her home from the hospital, her first day of preschool, her first day of kindergarten, seeing her face when her mom and I introduced her to her sister Maggie at the hospital and she wouldn't take off the t-shirt that read, "I'm the big sister." How excited she was when we went to see Hannah Montana and the Cheetah Girls live at Bojangles Coliseum. And the first day we watched her drive off in our van. When I think of my favorite memory, it is probably how I used to go into her room in the morning when she was a baby, after she'd been asleep, and I would walk in and she would have bedhead, like many babies do when they wake up in the morning. And she would be standing up in this pink fuzzy onesie that zipped up in the front, and she would just smile and laugh and bounce in the crib because she was so glad to see me. And I would go over and pick her up, and she would hug me and be really warm and have that great baby smell. I also find myself feeling some regret and thinking about what I could have done better. Did I prioritize the right things with her? Was I a good role model? Did I spend enough time with her? Was I a good enough father? And lastly, I'm excited for her because I know she's excited and she has the exhilaration of being cut free. I know that she's looking to make a connection with other people and with the world that everyone is looking and striving for. And I know that she has to cut her own path and that there's tremendous satisfaction in doing things for yourself and making your own decisions and mistakes. And I want her to know that satisfaction. You see, half of me would go give my right arm to go back in time and walk into that room and have her bounce in the crib because she's glad to see me. But the other half of me knows that you can't go back in time and that life keeps moving forward and progressing, and that if we went back in time, she would never know the joy of living her own life and having her own family and walk into her own baby's room and seeing her own baby excited to see her and bounce in the crib and smell her own baby smell. Part of being a healthy adult is moving forward and cutting your own path, and as scary as that seems, she will cut a different path that is her own and may be different from the one that I want or envision for her. Or as the song says so well, all men must make their way come Independence Day. Class of 2017, Independence Day has come. You have worked hard and graduating from high school is a great achievement. I know some of you are sad and some have regret and some just can't wait to get out of here. But most of you have a mixture of all those feelings, and you'll have to manage those feelings and figure out your destiny and where you come from and where you're going. That's all part of becoming an adult. So as you leave and go out into the world, leave with purpose and determination and take the exhilaration of being cut free and use your freedom and your independence to do great things and be a great person and make the world a better place. And so to the class of 2017, we say congratulations. We are very proud of you and we love you very much. You are ready and prepared, and we can't wait to see what you become. As you take your first steps into the world, soak in this day. Grab everyone that you care about. Tell them what they mean to you. Tell them that you love them. And say goodbye. It's Independence Day. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce you Miss Margaret Roach. Margaret is the daughter of Scott and Beverly Roach. During high school, she has been an active member of Student Council, Leadership, National Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, Beta Club, and the swim team. She will be attending Wofford College in the fall with the hopes of becoming a neuropsychologist.
Thank you, Dr. Louder. Platform guests, teachers and students, parents, family, friends, and graduates of the class of 2017. Welcome to Cox Mill High School's graduation ceremony. To my fellow graduates, each and every one of you already has been and will be congratulated on your accomplishment today. And we deserve it. But we didn't get here alone. At some point after the ceremony, I imagine you will thank your parents for all their love and support throughout your life. You'll thank them for the times they let you sleep in through first period, or for the times they called you out early because you were sick. In my case, I know I'm thankful that my mom got up early enough to make my lunch before school all 13 years. But the unsung heroes of our success are our teachers, our coaches, and our staff. Each year, they come and watch the seniors graduate. And in August, as we continue on to the next big adventure in our lives, they will return to the halls of Cox Mill and shape the next graduating class. As today is full of excitement about your future, don't forget to thank the people who have shaped your past. Just because we are adults now doesn't mean that we have to be on our own. Today marks the beginning of our next journey, but whatever your next path may be, you don't have to do it alone. Here's to the future, and congratulations to the class of 2017. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished platform guests. Representing the Board of Education are Mr. Barry Shoemaker, Board Chair, Mrs. Carolyn Carpenter, Board Vice Chair, Mrs. Cindy Furtenbaugh, Mr. Tim Furr, Mr. David Harrison, Mr. Vince Powell, and Mr. Rob Walter. Cabarrus County Schools Superintendent, Dr. Christopher Lauder. And from the Cabarrus County Schools District Office, Ms. Lynn Reimer, Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Kelly Klutz, Chief Financial Officer, Mrs. Glenda Jones, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. Kelly Probst, Assistant Superintendent of Auxiliary Services, Dr. Crystal Hill, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and Dr. Robert Kirk, Chief of Staff Office of the Superintendent. Thank you for joining us here today. In addition, I would like to introduce the following representatives of Cox Mill High School who are on stage today. Mr. Todd Smith, Principal, Mr. Mark Lowry, Assistant Principal, Mrs. Deborah Walker, Assistant Principal, and Mrs. Melissa Austin, who will be assisting with diplomas. I would also like to recognize Mr. William Davis, Assistant Principal, who is offering his assistance with today's ceremony on the floor, and Ms. Becky Austin and Mrs. Courtney Liam, our graduation coordinators. Also on stage are my fellow Student Council officers. Strahenia Spasiewicz, Student Body President, Michael Andrews, Senior Class Secretary, Shannon Foster, Senior Class Treasurer, Brian Hollis, Senior Class Historian, and Colin Ham, Senior Vice President. Colin led the Pledge of Allegiance. He is the son of Michael and Meg Ham. Throughout high school, he was involved in Student Council, leadership, lacrosse, and ping pong club. Colin will be attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. I also want to acknowledge the Jordan Hatcher, the class of 2017 graduation speaker. I would like to thank the Northwest Cabarrus and Cox Mill Air Force JROTC under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Calvin Martin and Senior Master Sergeant Corinne Smith for presenting and posting our nation's colors. I want to thank the Cox Mill Graduation Band under the direction of Mr. Joseph Earp for its contribution for today's ceremony. We also extend our gratitude to Mrs. Jennifer Cook and the Cox Mill Choir, who will now present Hold Fast to Dreams by Andre J. Thomas as a tribute to the class of 2017. Thank you, Mrs. Cook and choir members. Strahenia Spasievich, Student Body President, will now offer some reflections on the class of 2017. Strahenia Spasievich is from Serbia, and he is the son of Sofia and Sergeant Spasievich. He is an active officer and contributor to Student Council, Beta Club, and Science Olympiad. This fall, Strahenia will be attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in pursuit of a career in medicine.
Thank you, Margaret. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2017, the bees are dying. Sorry, I had to take advantage of this large crowd to share information that has been thoroughly researched and is of vital importance to us. Bees are the pollinators of nature, giving us some of our most beloved foods and resources. I would love to tell you how to fix this problem, but I'm afraid I'll go over my time limit, so I'll just let you Google that later. So now that I've given you some information that's actually important, I'll share some advice from my wise 18-year-old self. I mean, my experiences are no more reliable than any of yours is. I was just told to stand up here and tell everyone their life destiny and predict the future of the world. Easy enough, right? However, I'm sorry to inform everyone that I am not a gypsy fortune teller despite being Eastern European. I do, on the other hand, have the power of reflection. So let's take a look back over the past 4 years. Remember that first 6 a.m. morning? I know the parents in here do after having to wake us up over the past 4 years. But that first morning was different for us. We had that nervous feeling in our gut, worried of what was to come ahead. We had no real idea of what exactly high school was going to be like. Yet we took those first steps into the commons, talking to our friends until promptly leaving to get to class on time. Then, all of a sudden, that feeling of nervousness was all sucked out and replaced with sadness once we realized that we had to do this every single day. Yet we continued our high school adventure, and we started figuring some things out, such as some of high school's greatest mysteries. Who would be our friends? What classes would we take? And maybe the most important one, was there really a pool in the roof? And obviously we figured out the answers to all of those questions, except maybe the third. But soon enough, here came sophomore year, and so did some of our responsibilities. We saw chances to join more clubs, do a few sports, and even get a real job. All this felt great, but at the same time, we grew worried at adjusting to this new balance. But we all knew the real scares awaiting us next year. The uncertainty of what junior year had in store for us seemed the scariest. Yet, as daunting as it seemed, we did a pretty good job at it. Yeah, sure, some of us began those fun standardized tests, and some of us had to do the exhilarating capstone thing. But despite those late nights of finishing Unit 9 of the capstone, we all learned a little bit about ourselves. May it be finally beginning to realize what we want to do with our life, or being more confused than ever. We all began to look a bit more inward into our future, as we knew senior year was not that far away. That meaning last chances to take the SAT weren't far away. Last chances to get your GPA up one last time weren't far away. And of course, those college applications weren't that far away. We finally saw our futures beginning to mold, and it felt a little bit daunting. But we all finished high school as celebrated athletes, scholars, and hard workers. And the fact that we made it here, decorated with all these awards and accomplishments, is just a testament to our perseverance and commitment to excellence. And now that leads us to here, graduation day. But this graduation is not one from our worries. Many of us, even the adults here, have worries. We will now begin worrying for what we will do post-graduation. We'll ask ourselves, what will we do after this? How will we go about doing it? And how will we pay for it? These continual scenarios of life which bring us uncertainty make us desire the answers rather than search for the solutions. But as we look back at high school, we come to see that every year brought us uncertainty and worry. Yet every time we found the solution, and if not, we learned from it. And that's a fact for everyone here today. And now, as the future beckons before us, the bees continue to die. Yet despite my time limitation, I think I may have some room to tell you how to help those bees. To help our poor little flying friends, you can plant herbs, wildflowers, bushes, and fruit trees in your garden, along with buying honey from local farmers. Well, that isn't too hard. It's the little steps in life that lead us to the ultimate goals later on. So Chargers, as I'm unable to tell you your futures, go and figure them out. But don't worry about them. I mean, you can, but worrying will only help you as much as blowing bubbles will help you solve a calculus problem. The real troubles of life will seem so small that they will never cross your mind, such as 1/3 of our food supply being at risk because flying little yellow things are about to die. But we have so many problems in our society today that many of us choose to feel worried and overwhelmed. But rather than standing idle at your problems, look at all you've accomplished and see how no other problem is any different from your past ones. So as much as I would love to give everyone in here some palm readings, I can only leave you off with some advice from someone with a bit more experience than me. As the late columnist of the Times, Frank Tiger, once said, "Your future depends on many things, but mostly on you." Congratulations, class of 2017. Our student keynote speaker this afternoon is Jordan Hatcher. Jordan is an individual of gregarious and artistic nature. She is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of the National Honor Society, Beta Club, and is a first place winner in the 2017 Cabarrus County Film Festival. In the fall, she will be venturing off to the University of North Carolina School of the Arts to study filmmaking, where she hopes to promote diversity in the cinematic industry. Please welcome to the stage this lover of Christ, Jordan Hatcher.
Thank you, Strahenya. When I was first presented with this opportunity, I thought to myself, how in the world am I going to begin? I've got to be cute and funny, but not long-winded. Also intelligent, but not boring. I debated between beginning with a deep quote, or a joke only the students would get, or even a Migos reference. But in the end, I decided to do what I do best, and to tell a story. To begin, I'd like to note how incredible it is that there are so many stories that intertwine and overlap. The years of 2016 and 2017 held many stories synchronous to our own. There was an overwhelming bipartisan and political opinion that I witnessed eradicate friendships and build some up. Brexit happened. There was the largest march in United States history. Vine came to an end, and Beyoncé became pregnant with twins. But I'm not here, sadly, to talk about Beyoncé or any of those stories. I'm here to highlight our own. Intrinsically, all the while we were stressing over college applications and AP literature assignments. Today, we're all in our church shoes and our best dresses, our parents are crying hysterically, and our stories may feel very destitute, or like they're coming to an end. But this is not the end. People always speak of how saying goodbye is the hard part, but I am a firm believer that it is our hellos and our beginnings that make or break us. In a couple of months, we will be saying a copious amount of hellos. Our classrooms will be larger, and a homemade meal may not be in our reach. The friendships we made prior to may not be as stable, and FaceTime will become our new best friend. We hear a plethora of adults tell us again and again that everything will be fine, don't worry. But this advice is irrational, and it's not fair to the receiver. It is okay to worry, and sometimes things won't be perfect. But just because we don't know what's next doesn't mean we will fail. This graduation class has done an outstanding job in proving this. Specifically in athletics, our volleyball, diver, cheerleading, and men's basketball team all took home championships this year. Concerning academics, among these students are individuals veering off to top schools, including the University of California at Berkeley, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Duke University, Vanderbilt University, and yours truly will attend the North Carolina School of the Arts. We have already begun to prove that we are truly unique. You see, I am convinced that youth are the future, but specifically, I'm encouraged that this body will be an exceptional addition to today. I've witnessed debates ensue on Twitter as more students become concerned with activism. Classes like multicultural studies have equipped us to love and to respect all cultures. AP Psychology has had a hand in raising our awareness for mental health. And moreover, Mr. Redmond and Mr. Kelly have taught us the value of passion and that there is never a wrong time to yell about it. So even though we may be worried, we can succeed. I challenge you, my fellow graduates, to allow the fear to fuel you. I challenge you to become confident in every controversial thing about you and to not allow the standards society holds to be your own. Your voice, your ideas, and your morals have value. We each have a story inside of us, and the beginning of it starts today. Thank you. I would now like to introduce our principal, Mr. Todd Smith.
Good afternoon. I would like to take a minute to talk about how proud we are of this graduating class. 4 years ago, I had the privilege of meeting the class of 2017 for the first time. When you started at Coxville in 2013, our student enrollment was 1,344, and we had 111 staff members. In your 4 years, you have seen us grow to 1,690 students and 124 staff members. Students, you have done an outstanding job in your classes and representing Coxville High School in various extracurricular activities and in creating school spirit. One of the best compliments our school receives is the amount of school spirit and school pride that has been created. Students, your leadership and hard work have been instrumental to our success. Here are just a few examples. Ranked number 9 of all high schools in North Carolina in the 2014 U.S. News & World Report, recognized as one of the top 500 public high schools in America in the 2016 Newsweek High School Rankings. Our athletic program won 3 state championships, 1 individual state championship, conference championships, and the Wells Fargo Cup. Our fine arts program received several superior ratings in regional and state festivals and competitions, 1 individual selected to the All-State Band. To date, the class of 2017 has reported $5.2 million in scholarships awarded, 248 college classes completed, and 764 college credits earned through College and Career Promise, helped establish a variety of clubs and honor societies for students to join, participated in community service projects, and held school dances and pep rallies each year. Your strong leadership has set a positive and creative tone for all students who will follow you at Coxville. You have been instrumental in creating the Charger family. When I'm asked about Coxville and what makes our school a special place, the first word I always think of is family. To the class of 2017, your Coxville High family says thank you. Thank you for all your great work and leadership, and we wish you only the best in your future pursuits. It has truly have been an honor to have been your principal. It is Dr. Louder and special guests. It is my pleasure to present the following candidates for graduation from Coxville High School.
Parents and guests and friends, today is a special and momentous occasion for the Coxville High School family. I am proud of these young adults and the contributions they have made and will make in the future. Denoted in each program are our honor graduates who will be recognized on stage by their stoles and cords. Please follow the notations in your programs. Cum laude graduates have maintained at least a 3.625 grade point average. Magna cum laude, at least a 4.0, and summa cum laude, a 4.32 or higher. So that each graduate will be respected, I ask you hold your applause and wait quietly until the graduate's last name is called, because every name deserves to be heard. Thank you. Strahina Spasojevic. Margaret Ann Roach. Colin Coyle Ham. Michael Keys Andrews. Shannon Lee Foster. Brian Peter Hollis. Jordan Elise Hatcher. Courtney Lynn Agee. Alexis Ann Attila. Matthew Cameron Allman. Alexander Alvarez. Samara Jasmine Archibald. Christy Janice Astudio. Timothy Patrick Badgett. Andre Nicholas Bailey. Jamil Tyrell Bailey. Ivalisha Monica Kiosha Baker. Brinson Levi Ball, Savannah Marianne Baltus, Carson Davis Bannister, Logan J. Barber, Zachary Dean Bargfried, Gavin James Barker, Rachel Marita Barker, Ashley Nicole Barnard, Jaden Adele Bauman, Asandra Baeza, Ryan Alexander Beck, Ajay Benny, Preston Abraham Berkowitz, Zachary Evans Bernard, Rachel Beal, Hayden Samuel Bland, Christopher Kwame Oyoche, Carter Bernard Boone, Ann Latita Busico, Brendan Dean Boyd, Kaylee Marie Bravo, Angelica Monique Bryce, Hannah Lynn Bridger, Nia Christine Bridges, Austin Tyler Briley, Jackson Lee Brooks, Chandler Spencer James Brown, Christopher Michael Brown, Deani Brown Cason, Paola Andrea Bulablanco, Jared Noah Burkett, Sally Faith Callaway, Melanie Annabelle Campoverde Quintero, Savannah Rose Carter, Seth Marcus Carlton, Kiara Ann Carpenter, Reagan Victoria Carr, Zaya Monet Carson, Joseph Benjamin Carter, Madison Kathleen Castles, Trey DeEric Chambers, Allison Paige Chanel, Alexis Brianna Cherry, Alexander Jacob Childs, Fabrizio Sina, Krista Hope Kleinert, Lanisha Deanna Clinton, Kylie Hunter Coccaro, Madeline Sue Kopik, Gianna Regine Rivera Costien, Austin Jeffrey Kraft, Jalen Tracy Cromie, Yasmin Jacera Crouch, Jeremiah Richard Cruz, Jeffrey Wayne Cunningham, Brandon Tyrell Curry, Daniel Robert Zamara, Christopher Lee Daniels Jr., Janae Elise Joy Davenport, Ardesia Davis, Ryan Cade Davis, Jamie Marie Del Grosso, Andrew Robert Denuelis, Bradley James Dodson, Caitlin Marie Doherty, Joshua Thomas Durin, Terrence Marquis Dove, Parker Halcyon Martin Doyle, Miles Marcel Drayton, Hallie Rose Duckworth, Matthew Christopher Dunning, Isaiah Emmanuel Easley, Emma Louise Eford, Jonathan Walter Eigenman, Brianne Michelle Ellis, Caitlin Lindsay Epstein, Vincent Deshawn Espy, Melina Esquivel Hernandez, John Patrick Izell, Asia Rose Fairman, Brittany Alicia Farley, Alex John Faulkner, Ryan Thomas Ferguson, Rashawn Jamal Finger, Jose Lorenzo Leon Finley, Zachary Thomas Finley, Tyler Ashley Fitzpatrick, Serenity Star Ford, Cassidy Nicole Fox, Allison Mirando France, Bronwyn Elizabeth Frost, my apologies. Olivia Grace Frost. Cody Gabriel Fuentes. Yael Dominique Fuentes. Megan Elizabeth Gadwa. Nicholas Hunter G. Grayson London Gilliland. Jayla Cheyenne Gittins. Alyssa Neely Goldner. Nicholas Lee Gonzalez. Tiana Marie Gonzalez. Braden Thomas Goodwin. Nicholas Austin Graber. Christian Anthony Graham. Emily Lauren Graham. Tyree Jonta Green. Madison Ray Greenhall. Ty Nathaniel Gruel. Grace Elizabeth Garino. Nikita Gupta. Jessica Kathleen Hall. Melanie Ann Hall. Jackson Galloway Harrell. Grant Ryan Harrison. Max William Haskins. Nathan Alexander Haskins. Eric Joseph Hayes. Chandler Michael Bing Hayhurst. Rihanna Elizabeth Hagee. Jeremiah Reese Helmentoller. Jordan Elizabeth Herringslake. Austin Joseph Higgins. Jonathan Allen Hennick. Lauren Emily Hobgood. Brandon Robert Hollandes. Joshua Matthew Holdren. Matthew Austin Holloman. Madison Suzanne Holland. Alyssa Nicole Holt. Avery William Horlbeck. Samantha Nicole Houghton. Jacob Maxwell Hudson. Destiny Oriana Hunsucker. Davis Michael Hurd. Colin Stephen Irby. Tyrone Tashandre Ivy. Lewis Bjorn Jensen. Alexa Jane Jensen. Isabel Rosemary Jepson. Anna Marie Johnson. Kalia Monet Johnson. Eliza Catherine Johnson. Jakari Ahmed Johnson. Jacob Heath Johnson. Bailey Brooke Johnston. Hunter Austin Jones. Jalissa Tyler Jones. Melanie Danielle Jones. Nize Tremaine Mayo Jones. Shaul Allah Joseph. Jaden Nicole Keelan. Janelle Corinne Keelan. Caroline Michelle Kiesler. Ryan Keith Keating. Joseph John Kelly. Jacob Thomas Kimo. Gwyneth Teresa Kessler. Annabella Marie Killerin. Tyler Jacob Kimes. Jordan Tyler King. Joshua James Kajolin. Zachary Eric Kajolin. Kennedy Simone Knight. Christian Ryan Knudsen. Michael Andrew Coker. Ian Joseph Krebs. Avin Micaiah Lane. Tabari Aman Lattimore. Kiera Tamira Lawson. Gabrielle Nicola Lazar. Ivy V. Lee. Connor Ryan Leday. Michael O'Brien Lewis. Alvin Hong Lee. Andrew Clemens Linden. Shanna Unique Link. Theodore Gordon Lister Jr. Tamara Christine Litton. Scott Allen Long. Yasmin Anise Lopez McDowell. Savannah Janae Lord. Gloria Logan Lovelace. Lily Winona Lowe. Emily Mansfield Luton. Zonka Ma. Juliana Marie Mays. Preston Dean Maines. Jesse Athiambo Malik. Connor Xavier Maelstrom. Tyler James Manigault. Emily Michelle Manson. Caroline Rose Marquis. Caitlin Jane Marshall. Michael Lloyd Marshall. Abigail Elizabeth Martin. Kara Brooke Martin. Priscilla Elizabeth Martinez. Sean Philip Manitovich. Jason Anthony Matera. Taylor Patrick Mathis. Tatiana Ivelisse Matos. Kaylin Kibame Mewale. Colin Lubamba Mewale. Derek Dikembe Mayo. Kevin Michael Mazzi. Michaela Alana McClure. Jada LaRose McCutcheon. Christopher Royale McDonald. Jalen Alexander McIntosh. Brock David McKenzie. Kanan Khalif McKenzie. Kyle Edward McLaughlin. Kayla Renee McNeely. Sham Varen Mehta. Nicholas Frank Melton. Austin Christopher Meismer. Viviana Letizia Metzger. Angelo Morocco Michael. James Robert Miller. Bailey Nicole Minnick. Pietro Enrico Mogenesi. Julissa Leanne Morgan. Savannah Cheyenne Morgan. Trevon Dwayne Murray. William Michael Myrick II. Jacob Hunter Nelson. Trevor Dale Nickerson. Colin Joseph Noon. Ian Elijah Nurse. Samuel Caleb Ochiltree. Marcos Vinicius Olive. Logan Timothy Olson. Joshua William Orr. Jolianne Mally Osgood. Lanaya Brielle Owens. Nicholas Justin Owenby. Talia Osbelli. Giselle Paganuan. Caitlin Renee Pangborn. Andrew Brian Pengrazi. Ashley Marie Pantulis. Elizabeth Gardner Pate. Rima Malay Patel. Siddhi A. Patel. Caroline Elizabeth Patterson. Jared Darrell Patterson Jr. Emily Catherine Peel. Madison Ray Pell. Daniel Goodwin Pennell. Ronald Arthur Pinot. Mary Taylor Perkins. Morgan Adela Elizabeth Pestick. Kivasia Unique Peterson. Jonathan Alexander Pettis. Ishan Kishore Fadness. Natalie Brooke Phipps. Jillian Florence Platt. Hannah Riley Pollock. Emily Camille Popejoy. Hannah Chloe Popejoy. Alicia Monet Powell. Clayton Wade Probert. Caitlin Case Pyle. Benjamin Milan Rabinowitz. Damani Cameron Reagan. Radhika Ramakrishnan. John Christopher Randall. Ahmed Amir Ratwala. Nicholas Rihanna. Radon Louis Sudani Rice. Madison Renee Rinkus. Jason Rizik. Kenneth Christopher Roach. Lucas Mitchell Robinson. Kathleen Holbrook Rogers. Brandon Agapitito Rojas. Joshua Evan Ronan. Austin Edward Rose. Marianne Marie Rounsiffer. Anmar M. Sala. Madison Kate Sanchez. Marley Sky Sanchez. Bryce Hunter Santmeyer. Yamila Itza Santos Balzan. Nathaniel Schroeder. Lynn Carlotta Shute. Malachi Emmanuel Scott. Christina Marianne Sherwood. Taylor Andrew Silman. Madison Ann Sims. Francis Kronwaba Sio. Sarah Joy Smart. Jordan Simone Smith. Kayla Berkeley Smith. Kayleen Montgomery Smith. Sydney Pauline Smith. Zachary Elijah Smoot. Justin Palmer Snyder. Bianca Nola Soto. Justin Thomas Sponseller. Tatia Nicole St. Amand. Paige Skylar Stark. Nicholas Andrew Swagger. Medina Maria Silver. Joshua Robert Taylor. Thomas Shane Taylor Jr. Jessica Alyssa Teisch. Danica Delano Tennant. Juna Myjoy Thatch. Gavin Lee Thomas. Taya Denise Thomas. Chase Michael Thompson. Matthew Lawrence Thau. Allison Marie Teets. Darian Emmanuel Huck Tillman. Nicholas E. Tober. Ryan Hunter Tony. Lauren Michelle Torrance. Danielle Bernice Trujillo Sandoval. Nathaniel Griffin Tuttle. Shreyanya Sunil Uchel. Jackson Philip Underwood. Lucas Avery Upton. Greer Elizabeth Bassick. Andrew Luke Vanderzell. Ashlyn Nicole Vanderberg. Adela Vasquez. Leslie Velasquez Avida. Pablo Villanueva III. Tyler Rebecca Vutz. Nicholas William Walker. Ayana Janelle Wallace. Sophie Cameron Walrond. Sierra Nicole Ward. Braxton Alexander Washburn. Connor Joseph Whalen. Aaliyah Nicole Wheeler. Malachi Mika Wheeler. Hannah Nicole Whitley. Darius Tawan Wiggins. Jacob Brian Wilburn. Karen Maudel Williams. Sydney Denise Wood. Alexandra Ruth Woodall. Sean Joseph Workman. Mark Wu. Adrian Michael Wyant. Griffin Archer Ray Yandow. Amanda Marie Yates. Kyle Brandon Yates. Connor McCullough Young. Dallas Michael Young. Alexander Stanton Zirkle.
In the presence of these witnesses and by the power vested in me by the state of North Carolina and the Cabarrus County Board of Education, I now pronounce you graduates of Cox Mill High School.
Before we turn our tassels, we sincerely want to thank some very special people who have inspired us. To our parents and to our teachers, we want to say a most heartfelt thank you. Now it is our turn. As this journey comes to an end, let us perform one final action together. The tassel represents the authority given to Cox Mill High School as a secondary institution of education in North Carolina. The movement of the tassel symbolizes the exact moment you are granted your diploma. Will the graduates please stand? You may now place your tassel on the left side of your cap. Graduates of the class of 2017, as you look to tomorrow, see this act not as an end, but as a new beginning. May our future paths be as rewarding as those of our past. Congratulations, class of 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming in to today's ceremony and sharing this accomplishment with us this afternoon. We ask that you please not come on to the floor of the arena as the graduates recess. Instead, meet the graduates in front of the arena following the recessional. Will the audience please stand in honor of the graduates? And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the 2017 graduates of Cox Mill High School.
you.